yeah, we're trying to get people to, go the distance and get started within property, but we also want them to level up with us. So of course we're going to be offering, things like partnerships so we can work together, so we can, not only increase our financial situation or our portfolio growth, but also you guys is coming into the industry as well.
No, yeah, absolutely correct. It's a place where you're not only going to grow as an individual, you're also going to grow financially as well. So that's one of our many USPs.
Catherine, what I'd recommend to you is we host a free webinar on a Wednesday evening about 7 p.m. and that's consecutively every single Wednesday. So if you do want to kind of understand, what it is, what trade property actually is, and what it is that we can do for you, then just click the link below in this podcast, and it will be able to take you onto our registration site where you can come and register for the webinar.
Amazing, great question, Ben. What's the best investment strategy to go down? So it depends on your situation. It depends where you are financially and where you are in your property journey. I mean, if you're a business owner that's cash rich and time poor, you can go and outsource these things to deal sources. But if you are a business owner that's cash rich, I wouldn't recommend going down a rent-to-rent strategy, because it's not really worth it, because rent-to-rent is made to get you out your job. That's what we feel like the primary...
Or scale up for a contract.
Or scale up for a contract. But that's what we feel like the primary reason rent-to-rent is, unless you are looking to scale up a large social housing contract or you're looking to be the next Premier Inn. I mean, for you, it depends on your situation. It depends where you are. If you've got little to no money, start deal sourcing. Offers great transferable skills. You're going to learn every single strategy inside out. You're going to learn how to sell, how to negotiate, how to network, how to close. There's so many things that go into deal sourcing, how to spot opportunities.
Yeah, absolutely. To be fair, Ben, the best way I can describe this for you is how property works. It's like a ladder system. Okay, so if you've got no money, you're starting off on the bottom step where we can go deal sourcing. We can, sell some deals to get some money coming through. When the money comes through, we can go and fund our rent-to-rents. That's the next step on the ladder. As soon as our rent-to-rents are cash flowing and we've got return on our investment, then we can go and then fund BRRs or flips. And it works up like that. Now, how you enter into the market depends on your financial situation and your time, essentially. And more importantly, what it is you actually want to do. So it all comes down to your situation, Ben, what it is that you want to achieve. Maybe you want to achieve generational wealth. Well, if you want to start building a portfolio that you can then pass over to your children and then their children, then, you want to be looking down the buy, refurbish, refinance side or your lease option agreements. That's probably going to be the one for you. Like Carl said, if you could try and scale up a contract, rent-to-rent might be for you because you can get them, up and running very, very fast, 2 to 4 weeks, £5,000 investment to go and scale it up. So it all depends on your situation, what it is you want to do. You might be a builder. If you're a builder, then going into doing a flip or something to build some cash up might be right for you. So if you want a more in-depth answer, Ben, I'd just recommend reaching out to us. We'll take some time and we'll help you understand which strategies can be best for you, how you can scale it up, and put you a bit of a roadmap together for you, bud. Okay, what's the process for onboarding new tenants? That's from Ryan. I'm guessing he's currently going through the process himself at the moment. So first things first with onboarding new tenants. So the onboarding process really starts after the viewing. Once you've done the viewing, it's all good. So how we used to structure our onboarding process, I will share it with you. So first things first, what we'd do is we'd take £100 holding deposit after the viewing. This would secure the room. We'd not do any more viewings on it. It was theirs. And then we'd go through the referencing process. So as I mentioned, we use the NRLA. We used to pay £21 to go and do. The tenant then fills out their application online. Once it's done, it takes about 2 to 5 working days to come back, depending if there's anything extra that they need or any documents, etc. When that comes back, if that's okay and they've passed, they will then choose a move-in date that works for them. On the date of moving in, they pay their first month's rent and their tenancy deposit. But the one thing to remember is if you're going through and doing it on an AST contract, then it needs to be secured in a deposit protection scheme within 30 days of coming into your bank. Now, let me just skip back to the holding deposit for 1 second. Now, that holding deposit there is a security deposit. If that tenant pulls out of that process voluntarily, then it's non-refundable. If they fail the referencing checks and you decide that they're not a tenant that you want in there, you can then go and refund it, etc. So if they pull out, not refundable. If they go ahead with it, you keep hold of it. Now, what we used to do with a holding deposit is we'd say, okay, we would put it towards your tenancy deposit. So let's say their tenancy deposit's 500 quid. We would then charge them 400 and put that 100 towards it for the whole deposit, and then we'd obviously go in and then put it into a protection scheme. So once that's all done, well, they've moved in now, we're going to get the contract drawn up. We always used to sign it in person because we always used to find that the required fields wouldn't necessarily lock, but you can go ahead and do that. You can go and send it electronically for signature, or you can do it in person. Either way, make sure they've got a copy of it. Then you'll just take the first month's rent, as I mentioned, the deposit as well. And I'd always recommend to them to make sure that if their payment day is the first of the month, they set up a standing order then and there. You can introduce direct debits with multiple different people, but they will take a percentage. So if you are scaling up and you're at a large amount of tenants, to go and have everyone on direct debits, it'll actually cost you quite a lot. Anything to add on that one?
Yeah, I just want to go back to the very, very beginning, the viewing process. So there's a couple tips that you can actually take into consideration when viewing. I mean, for me, it was the little things as well. Okay, so why are they looking to move? How long have they been looking to move? How long have they been in their past residency? Okay, what do they do for work? What do they like to do for fun? And what's your gut feeling on these guys? I mean, we're really good at spotting certain things and understanding certain things. So I was showing someone around a property and he dropped that he couldn't get a phone contract. And I was thinking, right, if you can't get a phone contract, how are you going to pass my reference in? So I didn't eat, and I had a bad gut feeling on him. So that's one big thing. Make sure you trust your gut feeling. Also, little things as well. If your tenant turns up ridiculously late, yeah, I can understand that things can occur and traffic and incidences can happen. However, if your tenant's meant to be there at 4 o'clock and turns up at 4:30, it's just unprofessional. Okay, these people are coming to actually have a look at a room, and if they're wanting it, you need to take all things into consideration.
Yeah.
If he's late to a viewing, can he be late? Yeah, can he be late for payments? These are things that you need to take into consideration.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. What challenges have you faced with tenants or property management? That's from Wendy. Do you want to go?
Yeah, so, well, just referencing back to the past tenant, we had him. We also had someone who decided not to pay rent for a great length of time. Yet again, this guy flew through all his references, but there was something that wasn't quite right with him. He wasn't quite there. I don't know really how to put it. He had some issues, to say the least. He was going through quite a dark patch in his personal life, and he couldn't pay rent, and he didn't clean his room at all, and everything picked up, and it literally turned into a hoard house. Okay, I remember
horrendous.
When the toilet was blocked, the shower was blocked, the sink was blocked,
And got sick in the
I don't know how someone could quite literally live in there. But if he reached out to us and kept that communication and said, look guys, I'm going through a bit of a dark patch in my personal life, I'm going to struggle to pay this month's rent, am I able to put a bit of a payment plan in place just to help me get through this period? That's fine. We can work with people. However, this guy decided to block us on pretty much everything. The only way we could go and speak to him is if we was taking viewings on another room and we happened to bump into him. It's the only way we managed to get hold of him, but he didn't pay rent for 4-5 months at least.
Yeah.
And he wasn't someone we could get hold of. He wasn't someone who would have been willing to sign a surrender and settlement, but he did manage to get out in the end. We didn't actually use a Section 8 on him. So
It just expired, didn't it?
Yeah, everything just expired, and we just told him that he had to leave, and he just left essentially.
But that's a good thing, because we'd actually, I remember, he had the only key that we had to that room, right? And I went round, I was doing some viewings, and there was a doctor that was due to turn up, right? And I'm thinking, right, he had the nicest room in the property. So I'm thinking, right, okay, he's told me he's left it nice and clean. He's told me he's left it unlocked so I can go do viewings. This will be all right. And it was the only one we had. So I've gone in, tried to unlock the door, it's locked. I now understand why it was locked after seeing the state of his room after he left. And I'm thinking, I need to show this guy his room. This is the 4th time now he's told me he's left it unlocked, it's tidy, and it's not. So I got out the massive bag of keys we've got, emptied it down. I've tried majority of keys, thinking that there's got to be one in here that opens the door.